everyone a big hand. I want us all to take a moment to just pray to your spiritual guide, your God, your spirituality, your guardian angel, and please pray for John Liu for his protection. He needs our protection very much right now, and praying for all of our public libraries, for the librarians, the people who work for the libraries, and for the public who uses the libraries and all of our public resources. So we're very grateful that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Michael, for the arrangements, and thank you for the prayers. I could use every prayer I can get now, and we can pray for our libraries as well, because this has been an issue that I know has been brewing for a while, and it's a serious issue. It's an issue that strikes at the heart of who we are as a city. And as comptroller, I've had the privilege of serving as comptroller now for a little more than 3 years. It's been a challenging time to be chief financial officer of anything, let alone the great city of New York. But I have been excited every day to start the morning, having the opportunity to serve and help lead our city in the right direction. And I often have a very different view of life and things in general in this city from the occupant of the office across the street from mine, which is Mayor Bloomberg. I got nothing personal against him, but I think that the direction that the city has taken in recent years has been quite different from the direction that I thought the city should be taking, and what the city always meant to me as an immigrant. I have lived in New York City almost my whole life, but I am an immigrant. I was born in Taiwan. My neck is still stamped made in Taiwan back here. But I had a chance to come to America, to New York with my family, and New York always meant a place of dreams where if you work hard, you dream big, and then you work even harder, you can achieve success. If you can make it in New York, you can then make it anywhere. But in recent years, things seem to have been pulled. The rug has been pulled out of the rug. The rug has been pulled under the feet of too many people in this city, and lately, this idea that let's sell these buildings because they can't sustain themselves. Renee Collymore, our local leader here, and I have talked about many of these issues with regard to the library specifically, but other things as well in recent years, where we have seen the sale of public assets in many different manifestations, whether it be the proposed sale of these library buildings now, using the argument that they don't have air conditioning, or air conditioning is too expensive to install, or the buildings themselves can't sustain themselves. It's only because they haven't been taken care of for many, many years now. And the lack of maintenance and repairs has only driven up the costs of keeping these buildings, these, in many cases, old historic buildings. We should be protecting these treasures. You look at what the mayor's proposing with NYCHA, right? The idea there is that, we don't have enough money to upkeep the NYCHA buildings, so let's sell some of the property around it to luxury development and then get the money. And in recent years, it's been more nuanced than that. He talks about rezoning 40% of the city. In most cases, upzoning the city. That has been done. But that is, again, a privatization of our city's wealth. Giving it away, generally giving it away to the developers or whoever own the properties with very little public benefit. So this is a disturbing trend that I believe needs to be stopped. And it will be stopped. It will be stopped. Well, hold on for a second. It's surely going to be stopped in 8 months and 16 days. All right? But I think what we want to do is stop some of that even before the 8 months and 16 days elapse, because I fear that we don't have that much time to wait. And there are some decisions that are pending. A number of you have been to my office, Carolyn included, and you've given me a great deal of information. My auditors have been looking at the issue. It takes a long time to conduct a full-blown audit. They generally average about a year's time frame. So, well, we're going to get things initiated, but we want to try to see if we can do anything further in advance, because at the end of the day, if there are any deals to be made with the private sector, that also includes certain kinds of contract requirements that need to be upheld. And my office does review all the contracts that the city enters into. So we're going to be taking a very close, keeping a very close eye on this, taking a very powerful microscope to look at exactly what's happening, not just currently, but what happened in recent years that led up to the situation that we are now supposedly faced with, that the city has no other choice but to go down this course of action. Whenever I hear from this administration, we have little choice but to, I immediately think of all the other choices we have, because we have been hoodwinked too many times. And so I'm not here today to give you a final prognosis on what my office can and cannot do and how we can stop this thing, except to say that I am committed to stopping the sale of our city assets, whether it be these Brooklyn Library buildings or other forms of city assets that it seems like this administration wants to dump and bring in one-time revenues before they leave office. So I'm committed to stopping that in general from happening. And I do know that this is a weekly meeting. And judging from the attendance here, I have every expectation that each and every one of you is firmly committed to making sure that the right thing happens here, and that these buildings don't end up being sold and being in the hands of the wrong people. Our public built libraries, whether they be here in Brooklyn or in Queens, we've got a pretty good system there as well, or New York Public Library, these are public treasures to be maintained for the public good and not be given away to private developers and owners who might say that they're going to give us a little bit. But trust me, in each and every one of these cases, they are making off like bandits and leading the public to believe that we're getting something in return. I do not believe that, because once you sell these assets, we'll never get them back. We will never get them back. So my office is studying this. My auditors and contract folks are on this. We've already had a couple of meetings, and we'll continue to have meetings or take in more information. And when there is more to report, I hope you'll have me back on these wonderful Sunday afternoons that we're meeting here on.